Hello, hello. As you get here, say hello and let me know that you're here. All right, I'm hitting live in all the places. And like I said, as you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. All right, let's see. Where are we? All right, give me a moment while I pull this up on my phone. Whoops, wrong thing. Oops, wrong thing. Okay. One more thing and then I'll be set. Perfect, perfect. All right, so I'm excited to be here with you today, guys, and at our new time at 3 p.m. Eastern. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that it gets confusing for because I just changed it, it actually gets a little confusing for me because I am so used to the other schedule that my body kind of wants to jump in front of Zoom, even when it's not scheduled for that time. All right, so I am going to go ahead and dive into today's affirmation and journey. Oh, hello, Wendy. Hello. You're actually home in here. Well, I'm so glad you are. I've missed you, girl. I know you probably didn't think a thing about us because you were having so much fun while you were gone. All right, hold on, just give me a second. So today's affirmation is, I am not waiting for the perfect moment. I am the moment. I lead, I decide, I move forward on purpose. And this came to me because I was actually doing some hypnosis audios and different things. And one of them I was talking about how we decide our things, and the anybody that's not glad to be here, oh, I'm glad you're here too. The thing that's interesting is I love to do research on things, and in case you're not aware of it, there is an experiment that was done. It's called the double slit experiment, where these scientists put these slits in this thing. I don't know what it was, really, to be honest with you. And they put particles in there, and then they looked at them. And what they found was that just by the act of looking at it and paying attention to it, the way the particles acted was changed. And so, we talk all the time about, we're to focus on certain things and make sure that your I am statements are good, and that, you're being as positive as possible, and what your lens of the world is, right? And all of that that comes back to that, because that's the reason why when, we've talked so many times before about if there's two people in a car and they're both looking on the same side of the road, and one has a lens of opportunity and joy and appreciation, and the other one is kind of in a depressed despair state. They kind of find the wrong in everything. They're going to see different things, and that is actual proof of that experiment, and the fact that it's who did the observing that also changed it, right? And so it's pretty interesting how all this stuff works. And so you can change things so much by paying attention to it, right? So we don't want to wait for the perfect moment. We know we are the perfect moment, that we imagine, we believe, and we create, right? I lead, I decide, I move forward on purpose. Now that could be whether you're wanting to have a perfect moment for moving forward in a business, or creating new relationships, or whatever it may be. There's a lot of people get stuck in that space of waiting for this to happen first, or we got to learn this one new thing first. We've got to make sure we know exactly how everything works first, right? And so the beauty of knowing that your focus changes things is that you can move forward even if you don't know all of the details, right? You can move forward in your life and wherever you want it to be. And so I imagine for you, Wendy, when you and your husband were thinking about doing all this cruising and everything, you really didn't know exactly how everything was going to be. You decided that that seemed possible to you, that that sounded good to you. And so you didn't wait for the perfect moment to do it. You just dove in and said, this is what we're doing. And because I kind of feel that way about you, Wendy, that you don't sit back and wait for somebody to give you permission. You take permission and you do what you want to do. And, not that you're doing it in a bad way, but I feel that you step forward. You don't hold back. Is that true? I believe it is. And I titled this Permission Granted because all you have to do is decide what you want to do and do it, right? Yes, if you wait too long. Yes, yes. And we can find excuses all the time of why we didn't do something, especially when it turns around and it would have been an amazing thing had we done it. We can find all the reasons why we didn't do it. But the fact is that it's because we were waiting for something. Either we were waiting to know so much that the fear was gone, but we were waiting. And, what is it? My mom used to always say, a watched pot never boils. So if you're waiting for things to just happen to make everything work, you're going to be waiting forever, right? You've got to make a step. That's why this feels good to me, is because I am not waiting for the perfect moment. I am the moment. I lead, I decide, I move forward on purpose. Let me take a sip of my water. So, Wendy, how long are you going to be home this time? Or are you thinking the cruise is home and Miami's where you go to every now and then? The cruise might be home now. I tell you guys, I've been so busy with creating different things. And one of the things that's interesting is Christine and I had started this Hustle and Flow, which is we meet on Mondays at 1 and at 7 o'clock for an hour. And it's like a co-working space. And we just work on whatever it is we want to work on. And then we opened it up to other people. So now it's a membership where you can come in and you can do the work. And then what our goal is to start bringing in some experts to kind of help people with certain things. So as people are working on things, we'll find out, what is it that you're struggling with, and we'll see if we can get an expert to come in. But until that happens, we meet, and it just helps us to be in a space where we're dedicated to working. And so today I was working on my book, the one that I've been talking about forever that I haven't finished. And so I was working on that and creating some timelines and knowing that there are certain things that were going to happen in certain chapters. And so I got a lot done in that hour. And then one of the members, Jackie, she was able to get a lot done with her social media stuff. So it was so much fun. But if anybody's interested, I will drop the link and the comments to let you check it out. So let's see here. What is this? We were supposed to go Saturday, but Seth had to have something biopsied Friday. So we just canceled 2 weeks and we'll go 5-3 for 6 weeks. All right. Well, I hope everything turns out with his biopsy, but congrats on getting to go for the 6 weeks. Do you go? I guess since you've been going so much, you've got where you, even though the staff I know changes from time to time, I guess you've gotten pretty familiar with a lot of the same people coming on board, right? With the staff and everything. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share today's journal prompt. What am I still waiting for permission to do in my life, my business, or my relationships? What are you waiting on? What is it that you're waiting for permission to do? And how can I decide that permission is already granted? What shifts then? And what gets to be different? And, this is a really, really good exercise to go through. And so let me go back to the affirmation. I am not waiting for the perfect moment. I am the moment. I lead, I decide, I move forward on purpose. Make sure you put that on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes, put it somewhere that you are reminded who you are, right? Who you are. I lead, I decide, I move forward on purpose. That's who you are. You're not waiting for the perfect moment. You are the perfect moment. Make sure that that is on the top of your mind today because it's very, very powerful. We are going on a different ship this time. We had to leave our favorite ship. She went north. Aw, man. Well, you'll still have a blast. I know you, no matter what, right? All right, in our journal prompt, make sure you get out your notebook, Yes, don't wait for permission. I give myself permission. Beautiful. Yes, yes. So get out your notebook, your journal, and then go ahead and set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes, but write out your affirmation, your journal prompt, and the date. And then, it may be sometimes we're waiting for permission to have a conversation. Sometimes we're waiting for permission to reach out to someone that we want to talk to about something. And maybe it doesn't feel as good as we'd like it to feel. Maybe there are so many things that we tend to sometimes wait on. So what are you still waiting for permission to do in your life, your business, or your relationships? And write down whatever comes up. So you go ahead and write this stuff down, you say it out loud, give it some emotion, some feeling, right? And then when you hit the timer, you just sit there in total silence. You're going to have the chatter going on in your mind, and that's perfectly normal. You just bring yourself back to your breath, listening to the sounds of something in your room, the hum of your computer. Everything is vibration, everything is energy. So you can hear hums about all kinds of things. It's amazing when you really, really get still and listen. And once your timer goes off, you just brain dump whatever shows up. And sometimes we think we know all the answers of what's going on. We believe we do. But then if you tap into the silence, that's where this inner knowing comes up. Your God voice, your intuition, your superconscious, all of that is at work. You give it the space and silence, and you'll be able to hear what it has to say. So when the timer goes off, you just start writing. Don't judge, don't critique, don't censor. Just write down whatever shows up. And it may be something that's just super simple. It may be something that's big, and some of it may not even make any sense. Write it down anyway. And then the second part is, how can I decide that permission is already granted? What do you need to do in your thoughts and in your heart to decide that you have permission in your life, your business, and your relationships to move forward, to let your voice be known? I know a lot of times in my life, I've been in relationships and my business and my life and everything that I kept very quiet because I didn't want to rock the boat. Or one of the things that would happen a lot of times is if I had a difference of opinion, a different thought, then it wouldn't either wasn't received well or it didn't solve anything. And then there's this feeling I would have inside of why bother? Why say what you want to say? Voice this different opinion if nothing changes. And it just makes me feel bad. So I got where I wouldn't say anything. I would just be quiet no matter what my thoughts were. But that is no longer the truth, I will tell you. So, maybe you've been holding something back. Just let it out, right? You don't have to show this to anybody. Just let your inner guidance, your subconscious mind, your God voice, just let it feed you the information. So how can you decide that permission is already granted? And one of the things that I did was I started realizing that by me holding back, I would sometimes feel worse, and the other person didn't even have a clue. And so it was like that old thing, holding a grudge or being angry at someone is like drinking poison and expecting them to die instead of you. Well, I was holding things in, expecting them to be open to what I was going to say, even though I hadn't even said anything. And I almost wanted them to be a mind reader and be able to do something, right? And in my business, a lot of times I didn't do something because I didn't want anybody to say no. Well, that's just not a big deal anymore. You can't have everybody in your life happy, but you don't make anything better by making you unhappy, trying to make them happy. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but I will say that a lot of that has changed for me. So what shifts in your life if you decide that you already have permission granted? Well, the thing is, if you believe that your permission is granted to move forward in your life and you're not waiting for the perfect moment, you take risk, you speak up, you stand out, right? So what gets to be different? You get to be happy. You get to be fulfilled, right? Because the reason we do all of this is to be happy inside. And it's not happiness inside of us and leaving everybody out in the dust, right? But the more you are, I can speak for me, the more I help people, the happier I get. And so it's just a beautiful thing, right? So what gets to be different is I get to feel fulfilled, I get to be happy, and I get to see people making a difference in their lives, right? So what is it for you? What shifts? What gets to be different? I would love to know. So what are your thoughts, Wendy? And I think from what you said that permission's not really a thing that you struggle with, but when you did, how did you shift it? There's such a delay on this. Let me see if I can. All right. So for anyone who is watching and not that's watching in the background, just I love the fact that you're here, and you can go ahead and you can make a comment if you want. You can join in later, but I would love to know. I'm giving so much more love and getting so much more back. Yes, yes. Oh, I love that. Oh, hi, Susan. So how's the packing and the moving going? Oh, Wendy, beautiful. Your heart is so full and you're so grateful. Beautiful. Well, what you focus on, you create more of, right? That double slit experiment. So, Susan, of the things that you are shifting, have you given yourself permission to just do what works for you? Getting there. Okay. I love it. I love it. Well, to me, it's an ongoing process. I don't, it's very rare that somebody doesn't have little bits and pieces of this in them, no matter where they are in their life, right? Even people that are ultra successful in their business and everything, they may have a twinge of this on something else, you know? Um, and, you know, like there's someone that I used to know that was so focused on their business and everything that they didn't give themselves permission to do things that were fun because they wanted to stay focused on their business, right? So there's permission about all kinds of things, right? It's a big job, but I'm enjoying packing and purging unwanted things out of my life. I will say that when I have moved, I definitely purged a lot. I purged a lot. Unfortunately, what I end up doing, which most of us do, is once I got moved into the space I'm in now, it's like I've accumulated more things. But I do have this thing set aside where I purge all the time. So I have a container that's always being filled up with things that goes to different charities as a donation. And I give every single month to some of these charities just so that I keep the energy and things moving. And I've made a vow that if to bring something else in the house, I have to let something go. And so I don't keep accumulating too many things. So that one's one of the ones that sometimes is hard to stand by, but I've been doing it. I've been doing it. All right. So as I wrap up, I just want to tell everybody that I'm so grateful that you're here, and I'm so grateful. Anybody that watches the replay, make sure you put hashtag replay and join in the conversation. And I would love to know what's going on with you guys. And if there's something in particular that you guys are needing a little bit of assistance with, definitely let me know, and I can at least bring in an expert. I'd be glad to have a conversation with you, see if it's something that I can help you with. But I'm always looking for new experts to come into the group and talk and be able to help you guys with things. So definitely reach out and let me know what your thoughts are. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say farewell. Wendy, now that you're here, do you want to give me the leaving message? I've missed you being here. I've been trying to figure it out every single time. Let's see what you got. Be the moment. Have a purposeful day. Ooh, I love it. I love it. You're so good at that, Wendy. You should have that as a service. All right. So thank you guys for being here. I greatly appreciate you. And I will see you, what is today? Monday. I will see you Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And we will just see what's coming up on that day. Thank you, Susan. And so between now and then, be the moment. Have a purposeful day, just like Wendy said. And I will see you soon. Mwah.